And y'all know what it is. It's your favorite, yeah, your most hated Oddfella. We inside the war room in the dig. Welcome to the War Report live. Understand. I wanted to talk some. Of course, we're gonna talk some boxing. You see the graphic up on the screen. Boxing NWO. Boxing New World Order. This evening, this afternoon, what have you. I'm gonna break down my theory of how we need to trash the belts and put more respect on the name of the lineal ship. Put more respect on the name of the lineal ship championship. Understand? We gonna get into that. Salute to my brother Judge Galvatron, aka Act Reacher 45. Make sure you like and subscribe. You know what I mean? His videos. Subscribe to his channel. Say what up to the people as they fall on in, Act Reacher. How you been?
I'm my bro, maintaining or whatever. Salute to you, bro. Here to rock out with you, man. Y'all sub to the Jab Jamboree. Like, subscribe. You know what I mean? Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Berserker Boy. Berserker underscore boy. BOI.
That's what's up. Berserker Boy, BOI on IG. Understand. But before we get into the boxing NWO, before I talk about trashing the belts, I'm pleased to announce to the community that we have a battle back on our hands. I know we was highly anticipating the battle that was supposed to go on yesterday between Killer King Furious and Moni Brown. Unfortunately, situations happened and it didn't come to fruition. But we do have um, a new date, you know what I mean? And Killer King Furious has a new opponent, and that opponent is Cadillac Red. And looking at Cadillac Red's track record, you know what I mean, and some of the receipts, Killer King Furious is in for the battle of his lifetime. Um, this is going down Sunday, January 10th. You know, dig. Uh, I believe that's what 3 weeks from now. Next week we're gonna have the official Flex conference. You know what I mean? The man I'm gonna do a face off Cadillac Red out of the Rain City, VA, representing, and Killer King Furious is gonna be definitely in the war room for that Flex conference, talking that shit, talking real spicy and whatnot. Chamber of Truth is back on and popping. Ack Reacher, what do you think? Have you heard some of Cadillac Red's material?
I think that is gonna be a good battle. You know, I don't want to, scare anybody away or anything like that. So I'm gonna just say that I believe both brothers is gonna come with it, and they're gonna be well equipped. January the 10th.
Indeed, indeed. Sunday, January the 10th. Once again, we gonna have the official Flex conference going down next Sunday. That's 5 p.m. Eastern time. You know what I mean? Inside the War Room on the War Report. Make sure you subscribe to the R Fella, you know, dig, and hit the notification bell. You know what I mean? So you know when I'm going on. You know what I mean? And you can tap into this Chamber of Truth. A week after that, we're gonna have another press conference, the weigh-in, you know what I mean, the official weigh-in, and the rhymes will be weighed, you know what I mean? The man will give a chance to give us a little sample of what they're working with for that 3-round battle come January 10th. Once again, that will be January the 3rd, Sunday, January the 3rd at 5 p.m. So be on the lookout for that. It is scheduled on YouTube. So yeah, it is what it is. It's going down. Cadillac Red versus Killer King Furious. You know what I mean? Inside the war room, inside the chamber of truth. A 3-round battle. It's going down. But back to boxing, you know what I mean, from one combat sport to another. You know, dig. I wanted to talk about these belts. I wanted to talk about why they should be obsolete. I wanted to bring on and usher a movement called the Boxing NWO. The Boxing New World Order, because I believe boxing needs a reset. We have other former greats who have claimed that there's too many belts out there. We have sanctioning bodies creating secondary, third tier, and fourth tier belts. Easy. We have sanctioning bodies not living up to the standards by having fighters populating their ranking systems that aren't up to scale, that don't have the resume, that don't have the opponents, but they may have the payola and the backing behind them. We have sanctioning bodies diluting and actually becoming obstacles in the sport from blocking some of the best fighting the best. Some of the great fights we want to see in this sports are not only being blocked by certain networks, certain promoters, but we have to put some of the spotlight on these sanctioning bodies. How many times have we called for undisputed? We wanted to see undisputed, and there was maybe a fighter with 3 belts, and there was another fighter with 1, and the sanctioning body stood in the way and claimed that that fighter needed to fulfill a mandatory. I think there's a problem with that. I think there's a problem with these sanctioning bodies utilizing the sports to line their pockets with money without really putting anything back into the sport and back to the fans who support the sport on a day-to-day, year-to-year basis. That's why I'm calling for a boxing reset. Salute Lawrence Williams in the building. Says what's good. That's why I'm calling for a boxing reset, and we need to go back. We need to go back to our lineage, which is the lineal. When we talk the so-called oldest belts, which was the WBA, and then on next came the WBC. Lawrence Williams can correct me if I'm wrong, but they came around in the early 60s, maybe the late 50s. But the lineal championship goes all the way back to the late 1800s, which makes it about a century older than any of these so-called belts that we revere right now. Okay? Now, for the people that want to talk about, I can't see the lineal belt. I don't know what it looks like. But at the same token, want to talk about the pound for pound belt, the pound for pound crown, who the pound for pound king is. Akreecha, let me ask you this question real quick. Have you ever seen a pound for pound belt or a pound for pound crown? And if you have, tell me what it looks like.
Well, apparently they've been trying to sell me that the franchise championship is something like that. But other than that, I never seen it. I never. The closest thing to me to that would be, I guess, the lineal shit. If you achieve that, as far as in your, but that's just your division. That doesn't necessarily mean your pound for pound. But uh, like I said, the closest thing to what you were just alluding to, I feel as though is the franchise championship. But that's what they trying to sell. It doesn't mean that I take it as that, but I'm just saying that's what they trying to sell us. But but as far as like before this whole franchise thing came out and all of that, I don't believe I ever seen or heard about a pound for pound title physically. It was just always something that was spoken about, metaphorically.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Judge Galvatron. You know, dig. But fact remains, I haven't seen a franchise belt before, officially. And we haven't seen a pound for pound crown or a pound for pound belt, but we talk about it on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Like it exists. But at the same token, we shit on the lineal. A lot of us shit on the lineal belt. Can't see it. Well, it's time for us to rearrange that thought process and rearrange that thinking because it's not for us. Uh, I, maybe I can understand from the fighter standpoint, they want to have that physical belt around their waist, but we need to understand fighters alike, fans need to understand that I think this is more important than these corrupt sanctioning bodies and their belts. This is more historical and legacy driven, uh, being tied to the lineage, you know what I mean, than it is to these sanctioning bodies that are literally just boxing leeches that are leeching on to the greatness of the sweet science. Now, what is this lineage I'm talking about? You know what I mean? So, well, I'm gonna break it down with the welterweight division since they the hot topic. You know what I mean? They the hot button topic in the boxing community with regards to Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. You know, dig? So we'll circle in on the welterweight division and zero in on the welterweight division and go through the lineage. Go through the lineage right quick. So as you can see, it goes all the way back to 1888. And my dyslexia, I almost thought that said Puff Daddy, but it says Patty Duffy. You know what I mean? And so we got the next lineal champion that comes along is mysterious Billy Smith. I don't know none of these guys, so we gonna scroll until there's someone kind of noticeable to me. And boom, I see Harry Armstrong, 1938 to 1940. He was the welterweight lineal champion. You know what I mean? This is before any of these belts, WBA. There might have been somebody can correct me. Might have been the NBA around or something like that. but this was what was up. You know what I mean? This is what we can go back to. This is the true lineage of welterweight supremacy. Who was the boss at the time? Moving on, we see Sugar Ray Robinson. The welterweight linealship is tied to Sugar Ray Robinson. You know what I mean? So there we go. Correct me if I'm wrong, Act. The pound for pound was, I believe, created based off of Sugar Ray Robinson's greatness. Am I wrong about that?
No, it was definitely because he wasn't a heavyweight. So they created it. That's, to me, pound for pound is for the smaller guys. You can incorporate a heavyweight into it if you choose to, but that's why I don't even like to do the pound for pound thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of feel that because it's like, dad, could we really throw heavyweights in it? And it's like a smaller dude would never really be able to fight a heavyweight, but pound for pound really is if your skills would shine in any division. I also feel like power should be in there also. I hate when people don't throw that because some people, if they were bigger, they power probably would translate. Like if Tank was a heavyweight, so on and so forth. So like I said, when it comes to that,
Oh,
at least for me, I'm not mad that people do it, but I just say that it's a little difficult because, and I know the reason why they did it was for the smaller guys. It shows because it was based around Sugar Ray Robinson, why they started that whole pound for pound thing.
all right, all right. But I'm writing exact when I say the lineal championship because I'm showing you the timeline. I'm showing you what 20 years um before Sugar Ray Robinson, we had my guy Henry Armstrong with the linealship. So the lineal championship was around before the pound for pound championship. That's what I'm trying to break down here. You know what I mean? But let's move on. Sure. So Sugar Ray, you know what I mean? We see Carmen Basilio. This is what the linealship is tied to. These are the fighters that it's tied to. We see Curtis Cokes, okay? You know what I mean? Donald Sugar Ray Leonard, Wilfred Benitez, okay? Before I get too ahead of myself. Wilfred Benitez, one of the youngest champions, you know what I mean, in the welterweight division. Uh, 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 there you go. 1 year though, you know what I mean? Then we got Sugar Ray, Duran, Sugar Ray again, Donald Curry, Marlon Starling, all right? Marlon Starling. Pernell Whitaker was the lineal welterweight champion for 4 years. You got Oscar De La Hoya for 2 years. Felix Trinidad, Mosley, Vernon Forrest. Mayorga got his little piece because he had his number on Vernon Forrest for some reason. You know what I mean? So at the time, he was the guy at the welterweight division. Zab Judah was undisputed, right? And then we got to end it off Floyd Mayweather Jr., who to me was the last official lineal welterweight champion. So salute to the chat. Yeah, I mean, I've been going off looking at the, you know what I mean, showing y'all the timelines and whatnot. I see Cadillac Red in the building. I see Focus Ball in the building. I see my Utah brother in the building, Mark Wonderlich. Y'all know what it is. Smash the like button as you fall on in. Subscribe to the Oddfella. Subscribe to Act Reacher 45. We talking about that boxing NWO, the New World Order. I'm going through the timeline of the lineal welterweight champions right here. So now you see the lineage. Let's go real quick. Let's go real quick to our sanctioning are for sanctioning bodies. You know, dig. Let's go real quick over there and show you who's in the ranking system right now. Understand, it gets real grimy in these sanctioning bodies. Understand, you're gonna see names that don't make no sense. Okay, so there we go. I hope everybody can see it real clear up on the screen. This is a site that I fuck with, Box Live. They got accurate boxing listings, boxing rankings, and they also have profiles of the fighters and good schedules. But looking here at these at these ranking systems, for instance, let's go to the IBF. We don't know this guy Quadratilo Abdulkahorov, who's 17-0. He's fought nobody. He's fought nobody in this top 10. Sean Porter, he belongs. Sergey Lipinets, he belongs in the lower class of the top 15. Castillo Clayton, he belongs in the lower class of the top 15 as well. Keto Obara, we don't know this guy. David Avanesian, at least he's fought some guys in and around the division. He belongs in the top 15. Ivan Golev, we don't know this guy. Maurice Hooker just got in the division. Just got in the division, and he's ranked number 8. Daniel Yelenusanov, 10-0, matchroom fighter. He just recently knocked out, I believe, Julius Ndongo, and they have him rated number 9 ahead of Jaron Ennis with all his upside, you know what I mean? And he's 26-0, been in the same division all the time. Don't make no sense, does it? Over here in the WBO, we have who's this? Yuki Beppu, Mika Shonen from it looked like the Congo or something, or Namibia. Who are these guys? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's confusing to the boxing fan what these guys are doing. Lawrence Williams says focus ball at 115. Ankahas is the IBF champion, and he's not better than Sorb Rungvisai. I still want to see that fight, Lawrence Williams. Ankahas has been on the shelf for a minute, top rank. I don't know what they're doing with him, but he a champion himself. I want to see some unification over there. Focus ball says when there's one champion with all the belts, all the new lines start with him. He's just not. He just got to defend it. False. Focus ball. Undisputed. Don't reset all the lines, and I'm gonna prove that to you. You know what I mean? In just a second. Lawrence Williams said, "I know Quadratilla Abdulkahorov. He beat Colazo and he beat Keto Obara. I know, but you the boxing encyclopedia. You know what I mean? You ain't your average bear. You know what I mean? So stop it." He says, "I know Golub. He trained by Andre Wozier. WBO and the IBO is heavy in Africa." That's a fact, Lawrence Williams. That's a fact. But these sanctioning bodies are rewarding a lot of these guys like Keto Obara, Ivan Goleb, Abdulkahorov. They're not top 5 class opponents. When the likes of Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia should have been listed in every single sanctioning body's listing, but they're not. Virgil Ortiz should be listed and everybody sanctioning bodies listening, but they not. So Focus Saw said, I meant there's no, if there's no Lineal, a new Lineal is the undisputed champion. Oh, we gonna get to that. We gonna get into that real quick, and I'm gonna show you how we determine the lineal champion. I'm gonna show you how we determine the lineal champion since I showed you the mess and the fuckery that's going on with these sanctioning bodies in the welterweight division that's all over the divisions. So let's get some definitions real quick, you know what I mean? So what the linealship is we want to get the number one versus the number two to fight to get a lineal championship if it's vacant. Understand. Now there's various methods to throughout history to identify who the two deserving challengers are to fight for the vacant linealship. Now, don't be confused. The Ring Magazine is not the lineal championship. I repeat, the Ring Magazine is not the lineal championship. They try to hijack the thing, and they're a part of the lineal, but they aren't the lineal. Understand, they're a part of the lineal. They're 1/4 of the lineal, but they're not the lineal championship. Now, to limit bias and ensuring a lineal boxing champion is identified by the most two deserving contenders. Ratings from the 4 most prominent independent boxing websites, not sanctioning bodies, are assessed. Not sanctioning from independent boxing websites are assessed. So we got 4, once again, to limit bias, not to totally take it all away, but to limit and discourage bias. We got 4 prominent independent boxing websites that assess these rankings. First, we got the World Boxing News. Then we got the Ring Magazine. Then we got the Transnational Boxing Ranking Board, known as the TBRB. And then lastly, we got the ESPN. Now, I'm not saying the linealship is perfect, because my one disagreement is why are they mirroring the 4 sanctioning bodies with 4 independent boxing websites? I believe it should be an odd number and be 5. You know what I mean? So there's never a draw. There's always a winner in a certain situation with that odd number. You know what I mean?
But you the Oddfella, so that's not really fair, is
Majority would rule out, man. You know what I mean?
it?
But y'all see what I'm saying? The linealship shows a limit to bias when you have 4 different boxing publications that write on a daily basis about the boxers that we watch. Who's more inclined to do this type of work than the boxing websites? When you take it back to the 1800s, the late 1800s and the early 1900s, it was the publications that were putting out the fights anyways, with regards to who won the fight and the rankings and the rankings listings and whatnot. So once again, this is why I'm calling for a reset, because it seems a lot more less corrupt going this way than it does with these sanctioning bodies. A lot more less confusing than it does with these sanctioning bodies. So now that we see what the linealship is really going on, what's really guaning with the linealship, and it's not the Ring Magazine. The Ring Magazine is only 1/4 of the lineal championship. Once again, I repeat, World Boxing News, the Ring Magazine, the Transnational Ranking Boxing Board, and the ESPN are the 4 publications that are officially on the linealship assessment team. Okay? So now that we got that clear, let's look and see what they got. Let's look and see how they got things rated here. All right, because I already got this drafted up. For y'all. Pull up my Excel sheet. Smash the like button as you fall in. This is the boxing NWO. New World Order. All right, there we go here. Now you see what I got up on the screen here. I got what all these 4 publications got ranked in the rankings, the top 3 for these 4 publications. So starting off, once again, this is the welterweight division. The Ring magazine has Errol Spence Jr. number 1, Bud Crawford number 2, Manny Pacquiao number 3. The Transnational Boxing Board got Errol Spence number 1, Bud Crawford number 2, Manny Pacquiao number 3. World Boxing News got Errol Spence number 1, Manny Pacquiao number 2, Bud Crawford number 3. ESPN got Bud Crawford number 1, Errol Spence number 2, Manny Pacquiao number 3. Now, going by that the laws of averages, we have 3 first places for Errol Spence. So therefore, it's declared that he's the number 1 guy. In second spot, we have 2 Terrence Bud Crawfords and a mix of Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence. Therefore, Terrence Bud Crawford wins the number 2. So he's established as a number 1 or the number 2. In order to establish a true lineal champion, now all we need is these brothers to get it on. All we need is these brothers to get it on. We've established who the best 2 welterweights in the division are. And it's not Manny Pacquiao. We don't see Thurman. We don't see Porter's name popping up in the top 3 or the top 2. It's all Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. What's the problem? And see, once again, this is the problem with these sanctioning bodies. Salute to Big Money. Yes, the Oddfella, your favorite yet your most hated in the war room, indeed. But these are the problem with these sanctioning bodies because they have champions and they don't rate other champions in their rating systems. They play like those other champions don't exist.
I want to bring up something real quick.
Go ahead, fam. I've been cooking.
Um, I remember when Lomachenko intercepted the Luke Campbell fight from Devin Haney. And I remember Mauricio Suleiman had an interview around that time and he said, all champions are really ranked in all the sanctioning bodies. They just don't show it. This is what Mauricio Suleiman said. I gotta find that interview, but that's why, because you gotta remember, Lomachenko had the WBO and the WBA, because he got the WBA first by beating Linares, then he got the WBO by beating Pedraza. So And salute to everybody in the chat. I just wanted to bring that up because I remember Mauricio Suleiman saying that. That's why the fight got intercepted from Devin Haney in the first place.
Fam, that's a lie, and that's an excuse. We know that's not
I ain't
true.
say I believed it, but I'm just letting you know that's what
Because
Mauricio Suleiman said.
if that's a fact, why ain't Anthony Joshua rated in the WBC as we speak right now?
Like I said, he said secretly ranked.
Come on,
Like I
bro.
said, underlined, highlighted, secretly. And salute to my bro 503. Salute to Big Money. Salute to Focus Ball. I see all y'all. Lawrence Williams. I see all y'all in the chat.
And 503 up inside the war room. Big up, you know what I mean? North side, Houston hard hitter. In the dig. Big up. But yeah, you see the simplicity, how clearly the graphic shows you who number one and number two is in the welterweight division. I ain't playing no games today, man. We need to throw these, you know what I mean, these belts in the trash because they keep on confusing the system. They keep on shitting on us. They keep on. Act Reacher just gave you a situation where they're of corruption and interception and collusion. Us as fans can see what's going on right now. We can determine who the number one and the number two is. Us as fans, even first and foremost, as the LDBC, we are a boxing publication. You know what I mean? In a sense, we should be that fifth boxing publication to make it that odd number. But understand, we don't need these belts to be physically seen. We seen the lineage going all the way back to Henry Armstrong, going all the way back to Sugar Ray Robinson, to Sugar Ray Leonard, to Roberto Duran. WBC don't go all the way back to that. WBA don't go all the way back to that. Ain't no politics fucking around with this lineal shit. Huh? Zero politics. So what's the problem? What's the problem when we discuss, when we fuck with the pound for pound king, when we discuss the pound for pound crown on a day-to-day basis, but nobody can show me what it looks like? It's time to put some respect on the lineal ship's name. That's my take on the boxing New World Order. I think next week I'm gonna do something on the IBO, because if niggas won't hold on to a belt, if niggas won't hold on to a belt, I think the IBO is the belt that we should be putting more respect on. And I'm gonna come with come with the case on that. You know what I mean? And present it probably sometime next week. So be on the lookout for that. But moving on, we had some beautiful boxing display last night. Particularly I have to shout out Canelo. That was a beautiful display of bullyism in the ring. Ak Reacher, I really heard your take on the situation that happened last night at 168, but I want to hear your full assessment from a boxer's perspective of what you saw in the ring between Canelo and Caleb Smith. And secondly, with Caleb Smith's performance, where do you think he goes from here? And do you think he was overrated and he was a bust all the time, or was Canelo just that good?
Well, you know my pick was Canelo UD. So I had said that months ago. It wasn't really. It was one of those fights where everybody kind of knew what was gonna go on, but I actually thought Liam, I said Liam, Callum, because of everything that he learned from his older brother and what happened to his older brother, I thought that he would particularly do a little bit better than that. I thought he would put up more of a fight than that. But Canelo looked at real like top heavy. First of all, uh, another thing too. Before I even really get started and break this down, before I even forget, let me salute Callum Smith with only 4 weeks' notice. I've been hearing my brothers cook and things like that, and we just got to keep it 100 and keep it a stack. I've been hearing people talk about Caleb Plant and his excuses why he couldn't take the Canelo fight. Let me take the time out and congratulate Callum Smith for being a real one. I knew you was solid ever since you went in the World Series of Boxing. Ain't nobody else gonna give you credit, bro. But I'm gonna give you credit for that and the Canelo thing. You know what I mean? Even though I knew you wasn't gonna win, but I still respect you. Because you was one of the people calling out Canelo, saying that you want Canelo, however it was served. Medium rare, well done, whatever. You didn't care. And you kind of showed it by taking the fight within 4 weeks' notice. Caleb Plant would have had more time if he would have got the fight. And he was complaining about 6 weeks. He would have got 2 more weeks to him. And now you don't want to fight Canelo to fight Caleb Truax. That's why nobody's talking about you, bro. Because you're not fighting nobody. He's one of the people that can't talk about nobody's resume, in my judgment. Caleb Plant can't talk about nobody's resume. He only got Uskatagi on that resume. So now I'm going to get into breaking down the fight. Callum Smith, he was tall, rangy, establishing the stick in the beginning. Canelo, he started off a little bit slow, but he was jabbing though. He was jabbing to the very end. It was a strong jab too. Canelo just seemed so much more powerful to me, especially when he pushed Callum back and would corner him on the ropes. Canelo was cutting off the ring beautifully. He was punching in combination beautifully. And another thing that I noticed about Canelo, ever since that first Triple G fight, I want to say, like he really like been upping his game with the host and the stamina department. Or it could be because he moved up in weight. That also could have something to do with it too. But Canelo, he did his thing, man. I gave Callum the first 2 rounds, even though people said they only gave Callum the first round. Gave him the first 2 rounds. Then after the 4th round, it was just the Canelo show. Jabbing, throwing to the body. Like Callum didn't go down once, man. I gotta give him credit, man. Canelo was trying to boom him too. And I just think that it's a learning curve from Callum. You know what I mean? I don't think that he's done at the division. But I do want to see Canelo step it up from here. You know what I mean? I don't want to see you go to 75. At least stay at 68. You know what I mean? Stay in one division. That's my whole thing with Canelo. And then what was the second part of your question, bro? Steals? My fault. I don't remember the second part.
About Callum Smith, do you think he was like overrated? Do you think he, you know what I mean? Or do you think that it was just about Canelo being that good?
I think it was, and I don't even think I'm starting to learn about Canelo. Like he's one of them type of fighters like it's a nervous aura. He don't look scary physically, but psychologically, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? You see all the fans. He had like 12, 15,000 up in there, bro. You know what I mean? And that still was kind of nerve wracking, being due to the fact that we haven't really been having crowds like that. So you know, there's like a whole you gotta overcome that with Canelo, the whole mental aspect. I feel like he wasn't there mentally because I was like, Callum usually be letting off punches, firing, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. I didn't really see the pop or the boom or anything like that. Canelo was booming, but I didn't really see that from Callum. So I just think that it was a mental. It was more of a mental thing, nervous energy. It wasn't
That's what's
over. It
up.
was. I don't think it was an overrated thing. I think that Callum did have the tools and everything like that. And not only that, Callum proved himself by entering that World Series of boxing. You know, to me, you know what I mean. So I don't think it was that. I think that is just the whole. You got to be able to battle that nervous energy and those demons when you fight in Canelo. You know what I mean. You got to be able to break through the mental barrier first to beat him physically.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I I put a lot of stock. I rate Callum Smith a lot for the fact that he was in that World Super Boxing Super Series and he was victorious. But at the same time, um, what I really didn't mention during fight week, it was that he was still at that level, at at the big fight level. He was unproven, as is all the guys at 168. Um, whether you want to talk about Benavides or Caleb Plant, they're all unproven at the big fight level. Um, so Caleb Smith, at a point, I think to me he froze in the fight. Definitely, I gave him 2 rounds at most out of the 12 rounds, and I was quite surprised that he was able to keep up and stand up from the onslaught, the body punching, the uppercuts that Canelo was able to land on him. We got Mahari Sports Nation podcast in the war room. Salute to my brother for passing through. We cooking on this last night's fight. You know what I mean? I know you a guy. I heard you, you know what I mean, time and time again. Uh, have no respect for Caleb Smith. Let me hear it again. Uh, but before you shit on Caleb Smith, give me your true assessment. You know what I mean? Tell it like it is. Give me that Minnesota talk. You know what I mean? That cold talk. And tell me what you feel about that Canelo fight. And then let me know how much of a bum Calvin Smith is.
Well, I must say, if you see my face here, much love to Oddfella and much love to Mr. Act Reacher 45, the Jazz Jamboree, the Mr. Chocolate Brownie fan in the building. What's going on, y'all? Man, let me tell you this right now. As I'm waiting, in the line right now. Um, I'm not gonna. I'll take one thing back. I'm not gonna call Cal Smith no bum because that would be an insult. I'm not going to say that. But I will say that to me, Colin Smith, if you put him in there against a David Benavidez or Caleb Plant and those guys, he stands no chance. Okay. But I will give him his just due because he went through the boxing super series when a lot of the other guys have not, and he beat those guys to win the tournament. There's some validity to that. Now, when it comes to the assessment of the fight, I knew where this was going. Okay. Because the bottom line is Canelo prefers to fight a guy that's slow plotting, that's not going to try to, move around the ring. He prefers a guy that kind of like doesn't like to move around, just like to stand in front of you. That's what Canelo prefers. You've seen that in those fights that he's faced against. Okay. If he decided to go up to 175 at this point against Arthur Beterbiev kills Canelo in 6 rounds. Guaranteed. he
Guaranteed.
guaranteed, bro.
But you just said he likes to fight plotters, and Better Biev ain't no fancy footed motherfucker.
Yeah, but
He a
yeah, but here's the
plotter,
thing.
and
But
he
here's the
unproven
difference.
himself.
Hold on. But here's the difference, though. I say that you right, but here's a big difference. Beterbiev is more powerful than Canelo and would bully around the smaller Canelo. That's why I would. That's why there's a reason why he ain't going up fully to 175 to face against. Okay. Now, as far as my assessment of the fight is concerned, um, I do think that maybe some nervousness had something to do with it, during the fight. But it only took a matter of time before Canelo started, figure things out within 2 rounds. I was being generous. I gave Callum Smith maybe rounds 1, 2, and 4, but then after that, it was all Canelo pretty much after that. Through the body punching, the meat uppercuts he was throwing. I mean, I'm surprised that Callum Smith was still standing after they're taking them uppercuts in rounds 9 through 10. Like, he should have been knocked out. But he stood tall. He was able to take them shots and keep on fighting. But eventually, it was all Canelo from pretty much that point on. So that's my assessment of the fight. I'm gonna order my food real quick. I'll be right back.
Indeed. Tell us what you eating too. You know what I mean? When you get back, you know what I mean? Niggas is hungry up on this panel. You know what I mean? But yeah. Glad to see that you came up off of that. Callum Smith is a bum because he's definitely a decent opponent. Um, Once again, I believed he was the number one at 168 with those accolades that I mentioned before. Um, Act Reacher, was you able to see the unfortunate episode with regards to
Boots.
Jerron Boots Ennis and Chris Van Heerden?
Yeah, I did, man. That was a nasty headbutt, bro. That was a nasty headbutt.
Top of the
Right.
forehead, yeah.
Yeah, that was very disturbing. That headbutt that Chris Van Buren took, man, it was gruesome, bro.
I mean,
Now in
Jerron Ennis, he was putting them together quite well before that fight.
mhm,
Stop.
that's what I was yeah,
But I will
that's what I
say
was gonna
this.
say.
I will say this. I gotta dust off Nomyard right now, real quick. I gotta bang the gavel on you, though, Jerron. I got to. You know why? You was over anxious. You was real
Yeah.
over anxious. I gotta do it to you. I still love you. I got family. My Philly cousin salute to y'all. But I gotta do this. No, Jerron. You lucky
Hey,
you didn't get cut. You
right.
lucky you didn't get cut. I know you wanted to go out there, show out. I ain't gonna lie, I need you to slow it down a little bit, Jerron, because you got everything else. Sometimes it's like, it's just like the car going and we ain't even put the engine in the car yet. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't mad at him. He's putting them together beautifully and stuff like that. But I felt like he was being a tad bit passive aggressive. You know what I mean? And I'm glad he didn't suffer a bad cut.
Hey, Act Reacher, just a quick question for you, my man. Do you think that was probably another one of the most disturbing cuts you've seen, or was it the Badu Jack one that was the most disgusting that you've ever seen ever?
That's a good question, Mahari. I gotta actually give you that. What was the worst? The worst one I actually and it's crazy. Must be an omen. I'm gonna have to bring the nastiest cut I ever seen in the Smith family. I think the second oldest brother, or I don't know, maybe the one, I don't know.
Liam?
But Ryan, nah, there's four. It's four brothers, bro. Liam and Callum is the ones that y'all know because they the ones that got the belt. It was 50-50. So you had four kids. Two of them got belts. The other two didn't. That's basically what happened. But the one that fights close to my weight, his ear came off. That was the worst thing. Between that and dang, there was another one too, man. There was another one too. It was somebody's lip. Whose lip that came apart? It was somebody's, man. But I think that was the nastiest cut that I seen. I think it was Williams. I mean Ryan Smith. Sorry, Ryan Smith. I believe his name is. It's one of the Smith brothers.
Steven Smith, I think.
Oh, Steve. Sorry, Steve Smith. Yeah, that was the nastiest cut that I ever seen. Cause the dude's ear
Yo,
came complete.
I'm gonna have to give it to Badu Jack though, because he
Yeah,
actually fought through it. I mean, didn't he fight through the whole fight?
yeah. He
Pretty
actually,
much.
yeah,
Steve Smith.
he finished the
Steve
fight.
Smith wanted to still fight too. He still wanted to fight too. They didn't let him go because his ear was coming off.
Right, bro. But that was the right decision, though. At the same time, they should have stopped the fight against Badu Jack. Like, bro, his cranium looked exposed when he was fighting. When he was continuing on in the fight. You know what I mean? I don't understand why they didn't stop the fight. I mean, it was the nastiest cut I've ever seen in my life, man. Did you see? You remember when the what was Tony Weeks' shirt after the fight? It was drenched in blood.
Mm,
Like
that's a
literally,
fact.
Tony Weeks' shirt was literally like drenched in blood, though. Like, man, like that fight should have been stopped right there. Like that. Listen, it's one thing if you want to continue to fight, but that kind of cut, bro, I would. If I were as ringside doctor, I said, hell no. We stopping this fight right now. His cranium's gonna get exposed. You know what I'm saying?
True, true, true indeed. All right, so let me ask y'all fellas this. Van Heerden gets, you know what I mean, gets stapled up, you know what I mean, his forehead heals up well. Um, is the rematch what we want next, or does Boots move on and fight somebody of say higher class, say a Josesito Lopez, say a Sergey Lipinets? Um, what are y'all thoughts on that? MSPU first.
Well, I wouldn't be interested in seeing another rematch with Chris Van Heeren because it's not interesting to me. And I think if the headbutt didn't occur, I think Gerard Ennis would have wiped the floor with them. So there's no lure to a rematch. But I'd say put him in there with with Josecito Lopez or Sergey Lipinets. Put him in there and let's see what he can do. I think he's capable of being in a force at 147. Is he at 147? I just need to clarify just real quick.
Pardon me.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I would definitely put him in there and see what he could do against those middle of the tier, gatekeepers in percents. You know what I mean? I would love to
Yeah,
see him to
yeah.
see what he can do with that. And then eventually once he gets those wins, then put him in there with the elite fighters over there. You know what I'm saying? I would love listen, I would say put Jerron Boots in the future against well, if against which a Sean Porter, or maybe if Keith Thurman decides to continue on fighting, put him in there with Keith Thurman. Let's see what he can do. Why not?
Okay, okay. Let me get up in this chat. Lawrence Williams says, I gave Callum 1, 2, and 6. Bruce Goes is in the war room. He says, Canelo spars with that heavyweight, Frank Sanchez. Yeah, we're going to cook on Frank Sanchez in a little bit. You know what I mean? We're going to flip back to this Canelo card. But Kurt Anderson, Kurt Sugar in the war room, salute. Canelo will always look good against unathletic fighters with no rhythmic or perpetual motion. That's a damning statement from the boxing historian. Bruce Gold says, hey, my brother, she's shouting out Kurt Anderson, and Kurt Anderson shouts Bruce Gold's back and says, salute, brother, 100. Yeah, indeed. You know what I mean? Ak Reacher, do you think there should be a rematch in order, or should he move on to
Nah,
Boots and
nah,
should
man.
move on to higher and greener pastures?
Move. He gotta move on. Just move on from that. New fight, new attitude. Hopefully, you could get somebody like a Stallone's, that's on the come up like you, so you can make it look good and make it stick on the resume, so we could get these people to shut up, and you can show them that you the goods. We need somebody like that. We need somebody like that. You know what I mean? There's a couple other dudes I'm probably not thinking about at 47 that's around there. Or even grab that regular, I hate to admit, grab that regular thing. You know what I mean? From my Cuban brother Ugas. You know what I
Secondary
mean?
black belt.
Yeah. You know, take that off his hands. That'll be a good start.
Okay, that's what's up. Let's jump back over to the this Canelo card. There was a heavyweight, and I mean Bruce Goles was talking about up in the chat. Salute. Um, Frank Sanchez, for all my Cuban sympathizers out there, you the dig. He was in there with Mexican heavyweight. He came in shape because I looked at his box record. He usually comes in at two 220, 230. And in this fight he came in at 209. But I think in the seventh or eighth round, Frank Sanchez finally got to him and ended up knocking him out through the ropes. Luckily, there was a table there, or he would have dropped probably down to the floor, uh, uh, 3 or 4 feet below. You know what I mean? Potentially snapping his neck. Um, did y'all get to see Frank Sanchez's performance? How do y'all think he fits in the heavyweight division? I heard that the zone commentators talking about he would be a good opponent for a guy like Dillian White. I wouldn't mind seeing that to be truthful, you know what I mean? But as far as him with the kind of like top tier contenders, he's not ready. I think he needs definitely some more seasoning with some fringe contenders. But well, what do y'all think about that, Act Reacher? I know you're a Cuban sympathizer. Go ahead first.
First of all, I don't show partiality in the court. Um, Shout out to my boy Frank White, the Desperado. You know what I'm saying? We knocked him out the ring. We didn't just knock him out. We knocked him out the ring. Roy Jones voice. When Bernard Hopkins got knocked out by, Joe Smith. He said, "Oh, out the ring." So that's what that type of knockout it was. Frank Sanchez, I ain't gonna lie, he kind of slowed down almost. I thought before he got him out of there, but I'm glad that he got him out of there. Because I was kind of worried about the stamina and stuff like that. But I agree with you though, Stills. He definitely needs a couple more fights before he start swimming in the deep end. I'm just keep it a stack. You know what I mean? Because I think that he should have easily dispatched to this guy sooner. But he got him out of there nevertheless. Knocked him out through the ropes. I think a couple, maybe about 3, 4 more fights. I think he should be definitely ready.
Possibly. We'll see about that. Um, I would like to see him in there with some other kind of like prospects, F.A. Ajagba types, uh, Philip Hergovich types. But yeah, it remains to be seen. MSP, you get to see Frank Sanchez on the Canelo undercard, and if not, have you seen him yet? And what you think about this guy? Think he's the truth?
Um, I didn't see him the fight on the card, but I did, watch some of the highlights. I mean, he does look good. He does have that Cuban amateur pedigree that a lot of these fighters don't want to face against. Um, I do think that he will need some time to really, go against. If he really wants to have the opportunity to face some of the elite fighters at the heavyweight division, he's gonna have to, you know, take some fights, that is basically gonna test his value and see what he can do. If it's an F.A. Java, Joe Joyce, or Daniel Dubois, or let's say his own Cuban adversary, Luis Ortiz too, and even a Dillian White. Those are the fighters that I would, start looking at and thinking about putting them in there in the ring against before you're going against, the Wilders, the Joshuas, the Furies, those kind of level fighters. But I do think he has potential, but we just got to wait to see what he can do. He does look good, though. I will say that.
That's what's up.
I'm almost
Lawrence
with
Williams in the chat says, I
Steven
would be
Shaw.
surprised if Bruce. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. He says, I'll be surprised if Boost comes back on January 23rd versus Delorme. That fight was originally scheduled. Hopefully, yeah, Delorme is able to shake off that Rona real quick, you know what I mean, and get back in training. And yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. It was originally scheduled, but you know how those things goes sometimes. Lawrence Williams also said Frank Sanchez versus Stephen Shaw would be perfect. Yeah, Stephen Shaw had a nice victory over the weekend as well, under the radar, and he looked actually real good, real sharp. Dropped some weight. That would be actually a very interesting opponent. Stephen Shaw is an American heavyweight that undefeated heavyweight, young heavyweight on the come up that I think we need to keep our eye on as well. Um,
Out of St. Louis.
Indeed, salute Monty Brown TV. You know what I mean? One of the fellow man out of St. Louis, Stephen Shaw, heavyweight on the rise, definitely. Um, just to sum it up, moving back to the Canelo talk, you know what I mean? Because since he pretty much the man of the weekend, with his dominating bully style victory over Caleb Smith. Um, my last question to the fellas is what do you want to see him go next? I know the in my opinion the situation is that since he has that WBC belt, because we know that 168 belt at WBC was vacant and it was put up for grabs for that Caleb Smith fight. Now, since he got that, um, Envy Yildirim, that Turkish contender, is owed um, a title shot immediately. You know what I mean? I guess within 3 months, so to speak, 3 months. Rumor has it, actually, salute to Lawrence Williams because he's the one that dropped it on me real early. Rumor has it it's going down in February in Mexico. Envy Yildirim against Canelo next. After that situation gets out of the way, who do y'all want to see Canelo get in the ring with? The Caleb Plant, Benavidez, uh, Jamal Charlo. Will he move up? Defect from middleweight if he don't get that Andre fight or the Triple G fight. Uh, but what do y'all see in the crystal ball in the future of Canelo? Akricha, what do you think?
I mean, that's kind of far to tell because you got to get through this Yildirim thing. You know what I mean? Which I know he'll definitely make it through or whatever. But yeah, man, that's kind of hard. I mean, you saying what do I want though? I mean, I want him to go back down to 160, you know, and fight Charlo really, or even Andre. I wouldn't care. He could fight either one of them. He could even fight Andre at 68 if Andre's really gonna get that Billy Joe fight in February. So, um, yeah, like I'm just not with the dudes like Yildirim. That's my whole problem. That's the shit that I gotta bang the gavel on. I know it's a mandatory, I guess, because that dude was in line for the title or whatever. But I just feel as though I just want Canelo to step it up more. I mean, of course, first because I like Charlo out of the 160 pounders, I would want to see that fight first. But if not, then Andre.
MSP, what you think? You know what I mean? After that Yildirim fight, which we know he'll get through Yildirim, Chris Eubank Jr. was able to wax Yildirim, I believe, in 2 rounds at 168. Canelo Alvarez should have no problem taking out Yildirim so it's inevitable. Who should be next after Yildirim? Benavidez, Khalid Plant, Charlo. Uh, do you got another opponent say in mind? What you think?
Do I want Canelo to face against, my main man, Caleb Plant? You bet your ass I do. I believe that Caleb Plant walks the floor with Canelo. You bet your ass I do. But I don't think that's going to happen. Um, my hope is for him to fight against Jamal Charlo, finally put this whole thing to bed once and for all, because I know Charlo beats Canelo in 5 rounds. Real talk. He does not like going against guys with athletic movement, with slickness, and that's what basically, even though Charlo does not have like the slickness, he's very athletic and very powerful, something that Canelo does not like to face against. Um, I don't think AJ is going to be an option, because I think that shit has sailed with that. My two hopeful options is probably either, I'm not going to say Benavidez, because Canelo does not like facing against Mexican fighters. He's made that very, very clear on the record. My hope is he faces against Jamal Charlo, and I hope Charlo beats the shit out of him. Get this dude out of boxing.
That's harsh. That's harsh, man.
Yo,
You really
who's
don't
this
like
dude?
Canelo, bro.
Hold on, who's this dude in the chat? You gotta start. You gotta be back and forth. Who's
Yo,
this
this is the
dude?
war room. This is the war room, you know what I mean? And uh the boxing loser stars is like he's going off in the chat, bro. You know what I mean? He's going off in the chat, but uh niggas ain't I haven't passed out the wrenches yet, but it is what it is.
Okay,
Go off,
okay,
you know what I
okay,
mean?
okay.
If you gonna pop in the chat, I mean, let
Never
him
mind.
go. He talking boxing. He talking boxing. I mean, I might not
Nah,
agree
but
with
I don't know
every little
about the
last thing he's
casuals and
saying,
all of that. I don't know about that, bro. But
but let me read a couple of his comments because I salute him for passing through the war room. You know what I mean? And trolls do not get clipped here yet. You know what I mean? But it is the war room one day. You know what I mean? Soon and very soon. But y'all know what it is. Boxing Loser Star says Canelo smashes Charlo and Andrade inside 5. Errol Spence, I heard him calling him out. Inside 3 rounds. I don't even like Canelo. Some clowns around. Canelo will go down as a great. Yeah, he is a great. I mean, he'll go down as a Hall of Famer, but I don't know about
first of
all that. He
all,
smashes
first of
Charlo
all,
Andrade in
first of
5. That
all, first of all, sorry. First of all, I never said that. You got to learn who's talking, bro. Abel said that. Abel said that. You got to learn who's talking, bro. I never said Charlo will win. I said I want Canelo to fight Charlo or Andre. Bro, I
mm,
don't gotta get lost. I got a wrench. I could block you. I could come in the chat and block you, bro. Can't call me a fool. You probably don't know the first thing about boxing, bro.
Dude, just block his ass, man. Don't even waste your time with that, bro. Like,
I
like,
don't, I don't got, I don't got my phone.
here
I
we
don't got
go.
my
Here we
phone.
go. Here we go. Yo,
listen, I'm not. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now.
shot block
Like,
one
there you
time.
go. Let me tell you something right now, all right? For people that keep saying like, "Oh, you Canelo waxed those dudes and all that," you don't know nothing about boxing. Really, you're only exposing yourself, man. Like, listen, if you watch a Canelo fight, you know what his pattern is. You know what fighters he'd like to face against. Okay, it's not even in a debate at this point. He even said it on the record that he'll never ever face against Mexican fighters. Go ask Renee Box Young. He'll flat out tell you that. And he lives in Mexico. It's on the record. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of talk. Technically, David Benavidez is Mexican American. So I mean we get you can roll we can try to roll with that technicality. I know Zerto Ramirez is out of the rankings. I know he trying to vie for that fight. He was another fighter that was you know what I mean active this weekend that got a good win. Stayed active and he's looking looking for the top guys at 175. He recently called out Dmitry Bivol as well as Artur Beterbiev. I'd be interested to see that. It's time for, I think, Zerto Ramirez to fight some more, to fight top class opponents. You know what I mean? He's 40-0, 40-0, and a lot of that resume is built up off of who Holiday Hart. Let's be real. So I think it's time for him to push on further. Michael Hunter was also on that undercard, that pay-per-view, you know what I mean, out there in Galveston, Texas. Texas doing big things with one in Texas, you know what I mean? Um, uh, so Michael Hunter Jr. got, I believe he got the stoppage as well. Rumor has it that he's going to take a rematch with Martin Bacoli out in the UK. Martin Bacoli is another up and coming heavyweight. I believe he's 16-1. He had a controversial victory against Sergey Kuzmin last week on the DAZN card. So I'll be on the lookout for that. Once again, shout out to Lawrence Williams, who was dropped me the link in my DM for the Junior Makabu fight against Duradolo at cruiserweight for the WBC cruiserweight title. This was in Makabu's home country in the Congo. You know what I mean? So it was interesting to see the fight. You know what I mean? In Africa. You know what I mean? In Kinshasa, I believe it was. Makabu did the work. You know what I mean? Played around with him, showed some skills, showed some footwork. You know what I mean? And knocked Duradola out. You know what I mean? And so retains his WBC title. So yeah, it was good to see Makabu, who's being rumored to move up in weight to that Bridger weight, that so-called WBC Bridger weight class. You know what I mean? That tops out at, I believe, 224, 224. So yeah, be on the lookout for Junior Makabu. You know what I mean? My African brother out there in the Congo, in the dig. Who's actually the brother of Martin Bacoli, who I just said who's possibly fighting Michael Hunter. So yeah, that's what it is. Any last words on any of the fights y'all saw, you know what I mean, regarding like some of the undercards, some of the
Salute to Raymond Ford for getting his
yeah.
stoppage. Salute to Ammo Williams for getting his stoppage.
Animal Williams look good.
Yeah, he did.
Want to see him step up.
I
Anthony
think I.
Fowler's a good fight for him.
Oh yeah, and Gary Antoine Russell is.
Antonio Russell. Gary Antonio Russell, I think was he set off the meter a little bit with his performance against Juan Carlos Payano, who's a seasoned veteran. That's what I wanted to see. I'm not going to give a lot of niggas giving the keys to Antonio Russell, but you know what I mean. I got to still see him in there with that type of class of opponent. But it's a good.
I said, look, I said salute to him. I ain't say he looked that great in the win. It was a rough fight.
Nah, I ain't talking about you. I ain't talking about you. But you know what I mean? Salute to you. You know what I mean? As well as salute to the Black Banner. You know what I mean? Inside the war room. We said, Oddfella, respect to you, brother. We appreciate this observation analyst, evaluation and necessary action plan. Respect, family. You know what I mean? We about this boxing new world order inside the war room. You know what I mean? Trash them belts. You know what I mean? Unless they come correct. You know what I mean? And stop with them vanilla envelope taking that corruption bullshit, you know what I mean? Hating on, you know what I mean, our black fighters all day, every day. Nah, it got to stop, you know what I mean? Let's take it back to the lineage. Let's take it back to the lineal championship, you know what I mean? But MSP, any last words, my brother?
Hey, thanks for sending me the link, man, and apologize for coming in a little late. Had a little bit of stuff to take care of, though, man. But my point is, get rid of all the sanctioning bodies. You know, establish better structure in boxing that's going to be much more easier to follow. And I think you'll bring a lot of fans, you know, into boxing, because then you'll figure out who's the top contenders, who are the overhyped people, and things that in the third, you know. But it was a not. I would say in boxing this weekend could have been better, but that's the hand that we were dealt with. Hopefully, 2021 will give us the fights that we've been looking for and give us something that we can get excited for. But it is what it is. Much love to you guys, and have a safe holiday season, and also hopefully 2021 will be much better than what the crap that we faced against in 2020. So. But much love to the Oddfella. Much love to Mr. Brownie Lover, Mr. Ack Reacher there. Hey, give me the gavel one time for love's sake.
No problem.
MSP, hold up. Before you bounce, you know what I mean? For all my Canadian listeners, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Now that we officially we the South, I don't know if we got a alternate jersey that's gonna represent, you know what I mean, being in Tampa. You know what I mean? Since COVID done shanked our team away from the six, you know what I mean, from the six size. What's your assessment on Tampa Raptors? You know what I mean, this season. Do you think they'll retain a spot? You know what I mean, in the playoff situation, or is it looking dire for them?
Well, I still call them the Toronto Raptors because they're still the Toronto Raptors. You all listen. You guys won the title back in 2019. I'm not going to call you the Tampa Raptors. That'd be very disrespectful. So I will put it like this. The Raptors are still a good team. They're still going to be in the mix. But the way that the Eastern Conference looks right now, the way it's structured, I would probably put them at least between maybe 5 through 7 at the most, because Pascal Siakam's got to take another level into his game if he's going to be the guy. Because the way that he, flamed out in the playoffs last year really left a bad taste in my mouth. He's got to step up. He's got to step up and lead the way. Because if he don't, it's going to be pretty much a wrap for him as a labeled franchise player. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, and another thing though too, the whole tampering thing with the Clippers is just complete, horse shit to me, because a lot of these players, they do this stuff all the time, always talking to each other, during the season, wanting to, team up and all that stuff. Like, if you're going to basically strip away their ability to communicate and do business together, you're going to create a lot more problems in the future if you decide to do that. So I think it's just a bit overblown. But as far as your Raptors are concerned, if they get off to a good start, I probably see maybe at best 5 through 7, even at a greater extent, number 4. So there you go.
Indeed. Respect your analysis, you know what I mean? Salute to the MSP. Make sure y'all check out the MSP. You know what I mean? Y'all usually come on like 10 o'clock Fridays and Saturdays and shit.
I come in at Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time for my basketball conversation show. I try to break it up into several topics. Talk about the news in the NBA, some of my opinions, and some historical, history stuff for you guys. For a lot of people that like to listen in on historical stuff. And I also now that I have 1,000 subscribers, I will put in a poll for a historical perspective video and let you guys vote on which video subject you guys want me to do on. So vote in. Give me a subject you want me to talk about, and I'll do a video for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings.
That's what's up. Big respect, big salute to Mahari Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the man, you know what I mean, and check him out Friday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time. Y'all know what it is. Salute. Once again, I got up on the screen the graphic Chamber of Truth. Want to reiterate, next Sunday, you know what I mean, around this time, actually 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have the Flex Conference, the official press conference. The Flex Conference is going down, you know what I mean? Between Cadillac Red out of the Rain City, VA, Rain City, Virginia, you know what I mean? 2 up, 2 down, you know what I mean? Against my guy, Killer King Furious out of the 5th, Hamilton, Ontario. It's going down a 3-rap battle. You know what I mean? We're going to have the official Flex Conference. They're going to look each other up and down digitally. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. You know what I mean? So join us next week. You know what I mean? Once again, Sunday, 5 o'clock Eastern time. It's going down, the Chamber of Truth Flex Conference. This is in prequel to the official rap battle that's going down Sunday, January 10th. You know what I mean? Right here in the War Room, inside the War Report, the Chamber of Truth is going down. Jab Jamboree, any last words, bro?
Yeah, salute to you, salute to Abel, salute to everybody that was in the chat. Looking forward to the battle. You know what I mean? Y'all check us out on the weekends. It's your boy Act Reacher. I never steer you wrong, and I'm out.
Indeed. Once again, for all my musically inclined people in the community in the LDBC, part two, you know what I mean, is back in full effect. The LDBC mixtape part two is back in full effect. We gathering music as we speak, you know what I mean? Salute to famous A. Salute to the lowland prophets, my guy, all the way out there, you know what I mean, the Netherlands and whatnot. You know what I mean? Salute. We getting music, you know what I mean, coming in, inboxes blowing up, but we need some more. We need some more for this part two, you know what I mean? So send in your music to stayreadyboxingtv@gmail.com or live and direct countdown at gmail.com. That's live, the letter N, direct countdown at gmail.com. Send your music in. We about to do this mixtape, release it this next year, February, exclusively on the Truth mobile app, the Junior the Truth mobile app, you know what I mean? So make sure you download, you know what I mean, the Junior the Truth mobile app, because it will be exclusively played, you know what I mean? We're gonna have a listening party on the Junior the Truth mobile app, you know what I mean? So before it gets to any other platforms, you know what I mean, it's LDBC first. Y'all know what it is. With that being said, it's your favorite, yet your most hated Oddfella. Salute to the chat. Salute to the whole LDBC. And I'm Gizon.